What's up, everybody? Welcome to the channel. OG here, and I want to talk about the ways you can turn eFootball into the legendary game that it is meant to be. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, eFootball obviously is a descendant of PES. PES has been the best ever true to football game, best game ever made in that sense. To this day, even though EAFC has a crown of the biggest game, even though right now EAFC, based on all of the abilities within the game to manipulate runs, the manual defending, the things that they've added, they are the best football game. But historically speaking, there's never been a game that caught the true essence of football, right? That brought the beautiful game to the virtual pitch like Konami did with PES. Unfortunately, in what we'll call the eFootball era, there's this smart assist nonsense. And as you're going to see a few examples from our friend eFootball Universe, smart assist helps lower skilled players compete when they otherwise wouldn't. And that's total nonsense. It just isn't football at all. There's no such thing as an outside force taking over control of your decision making, right? Your decision making as a player is a big part of the level you play as a footballer. And there's always room to improve, which is also part of football. It's okay to be weak in certain areas, and then depending on the work you put in, depending on how quickly you grasp different areas, that will determine how well you improve. And then you go out on the pitch and you improve and you do better, and that's the rewarding feeling. When an outside computer, in this instance it's AI, smart assist, is making decisions for you, it takes away the point because you're not really doing it. I mean, if I played football, but when I was in different parts of the game where I didn't know what to do, and then all of a sudden on the attack, a Pele level computer took over, or on defense a Maldini level computer took over and just did what Maldini would do in that situation, or what Pele would do, it would be useless for me to even play because I'm not doing anything. My opponent wouldn't be facing me. And that's essentially what's going on. Because Smart Assist is a computer that has a ton of knowledge, a ton of information that the players using it don't have. For instance, you take a shot low and near post, the opponent, their keeper would have saved it, right? Well, the Smart Assist will say, nope, we're going top corner, far post, and boom, what would have been a save turns into a goal for you. They'll clear a ball and move a defender into position to clear a ball that you would not have cleared, right? They will change a pass. You might have chosen a pass that would go right into the path of an opponent and would be intercepted. They'll put it in a position where it goes through and connects to an attacker. Maybe not even the attacker you wanted, a totally different attacker. So now what would have been an intercepted pass turns into a beautiful through ball. Maybe you score from it even, or either way, it's just not what you would have done. So you are not punished for your mistakes. You are rewarded in situations you shouldn't be. And it's complete and utter nonsense. In a lot of ways, you might as well not even play. But unfortunately, this day and age, there's too many players that utilize this and don't care that they are getting rewarded for things they shouldn't. They're playing at levels that they don't deserve, that they don't earn, because the Smart Assist is helping them. And at the forefront of this help, giving opponents chances that they really don't deserve, are these automatic diagonal through balls that are being played, right? They'll play it out to a winger, and they'll play these diagonal balls, just spamming them, even when it's really a bad ball because the defender's easily in position to intercept. But what will happen is, whether the game's slowing down your defenders, speeding up the attackers, whatever it is, the attackers will end up with the ball many times. Not every time, as you're seeing there. I'm making some good plays on my opponent's attempt to just force those through balls in. But you saw earlier in the eFootball Universe video, he showed examples where the attackers do get through when the defender easily should have won the ball. And there's plenty of times where that happens, and you're going to see that right now. My opponent just kept forcing and forcing those balls in, and eventually these kinds of things happen. And what you will notice too, in both situations, I was on the attack, right? A lot of times you'll be dominating play, and you'll be able to defensively stop your opponent, except for these types of plays. So you see here, we'll go back a little bit further on this second one, right? I'm dominating the entire play, and you'll see how I'm able to battle back and make sure this type of opponent doesn't get a victory. I make one mistake there, no problem. Mistakes are going to happen. It's part of football. But when all your opponent has to do is get the ball out to that left side and just press triangle, it becomes pointless because they're not earning these goals. These are automatic balls that are getting in no matter what, where they're going to beat the defender, no matter what position your defender's in. I mean, look here at the positioning. And trust me, I get if you just saw these few plays and weren't playing eFootball, you could come up with an explanation as to why the attacker won the ball there, right? But once you see this over and over and over, both on offense and defense, right? You see here a defensive play from the eFootball Universe video, right? Both on offense and defense, once you see this over and over, it's clear that when Smart Assist is on, these players are getting advantages that they otherwise wouldn't have gotten without Smart Assist, right? Which renders the game pointless because it's not skill. They're getting outside help, right? This would have never been a tackle without Smart Assist. Some of these through balls you're seeing, right, like right here, would have never been advantage attacker without Smart Assist. Like right here on this example, did I make mistakes on my defensive movement? Yes, and then I tried to pull the attacker off sides, but I did that because I knew no matter what, with the way the play was shaping up, the attacker was going to get through on goal, right? So I tried something. Turns out my left back Maldini holds the player just barely on sides, and I was punished. But either way, the play it should never get to that, because if your defender's in a better position to win the ball, they should win the ball. There should not be some slowing down of the defender, speeding up of the attack, whatever it is that's giving the advantage to these Smart Assist players. That is ridiculous. So hopefully they eventually remove this, right? I mean, I showed you an example that you're seeing right here with the Romario Cup. They aren't even allowing Smart Assist, and look what it says. To ensure it is more fair and skill-based for all users. So wouldn't you want the game to always be more fair and skill-based? That sounds insane. Basically what you're saying is when Smart Assist is on, it is not fair and skill-based. So what's the point of the game? Why would you take that away from a football game, which is competitive by nature? It is insane. So I can't wait for the Romario Cup, but hopefully this is like a feeling out process for Konami to get rid of Smart Assist at the very least in all league games, right? All competitive modes, which really includes events, but whatever. If you want to keep it in events like it was originally before they opened it up to everything, that's at least moving in the right direction. So in the meantime, though, the question is, can you still enjoy good football? And as you can see here, you absolutely can. I will say this. Once I saw my opponent using Smart Assist and I got fed up with the constant spamming of those balls, I said, all right, you want to taste the Smart Assist? And I turned it on. And the difference it makes for you is that it allows you to connect passes that you otherwise wouldn't, get shots you otherwise wouldn't. It gives you a ton of plays, right, that become successful that wouldn't be successful without it. So I wanted to teach my opponent a lesson. Now, would that have been a goal? Obviously, I have the intelligence to make the plays, but maybe there would have been a bad pass. Maybe I would have overpowered a pass in there, right? Maybe I wouldn't have selected the right shot. You won't know when Smart Assist is on. So if you use it to battle these opponents, yes, your skill still shines through, as you'll see throughout this game. Is it more rewarding without Smart Assist? Yes, absolutely. But there will be those tighter games where you get punished because you don't have Smart Assist on and your opponent does, right? So you just have to decide whether you use Smart Assist or not. Though there's still answers to try to stop your opponent, particularly from those spam through balls from the wing that put you in a bad position. Many times your opponent, they'll get destroyed the whole game, but they'll just look to counterattack you, get the ball to their wing, and play those balls. That's all they'll go for. But unfortunately, they'll find enough success that it can beat you. So what do you do to prevent it? So when you do play good football, whether you're using Smart Assist or not, so that you can still be successful and win these games, you simply take away their only threat, right? Many times, like I said, they'll just spam whether it's link up play or these balls to one winger or the other over and over and over. So have yourself a left midfielder and a right midfielder that's defensively sound but can still help you on the pitch in other areas. Have them ready to play on the midfield side that they're marking whatever threat your opponent has. If they have threats on each side, then you put a left midfielder and a right midfielder and you simply man mark them. In this case, I'm man marking with Serginho, my left mid, his right winger, who in this case is Frankowski, right? If I wanted to mark his left winger as well, Zoboslai, I have a player ready, Bellingham. I added the right midfield spot to him, with the position add, and then I would simply take out Cruyff and add in Bellingham as a wing midfielder. Then, instead of two wingers, I have Serginho and Bellingham wing midfielders that can still run up the wings, assist Eto'o, Pele, and Platini, and it doesn't mess up my gameplay at all. I can still play my game. It just changes it a bit. And then when my opponent has a ball, they now have a much harder time because Serginho and Bellingham will be man marking those wingers that they're constantly playing to try to then play that through ball. Now you can also man mark the attacker with one of your backs, but it's not nearly as successful because the whole problem is even if you're in a good spot defensively, those attackers always seem to get through. So it will be the same thing with whoever you're man marking them with. You'll be man marking them. They might be in a great position, but they'll spam that through ball, and the minute they do, the attacker will still zoom past that man marker and the other defenders. So as long as you have this ready to go, right, a backup game plan to mark whatever threat they are spamming over and over and over that really shouldn't be a threat, right, but that they are able to use because smart assist. It may be a central player and they're spamming a link up play, so you have to mark that central player. Just whatever the passer is, right? There's a key man and then a target man or whatever their names are for it on link up play, right? And if that becomes an issue, you have to man mark the passer. Just remember that. Now, this in particular issue that I'm seeing mostly is not even associated with link up play. I actually understand the gist of link up play. The only thing I don't like about that, as well as this constant diagonal through ball where the attacker gets through, is that it seems to affect your players, right? It gives like automatic pass connections because I guess they want cool plays or whatever it is, right? So you just need to be aware of link up play in case your opponent's spamming that and this diagonal through ball. Those are the two biggest issues. You might come across other things and you can work on how to deal with those accordingly. That's the beautiful part of eFootball though, right? In FC, you couldn't do anything about this because the tactics aren't that detailed. They aren't realistic enough. You couldn't go in and adjust tactically and man mark any player, right? The best thing you could do is go full pressure and hope that that added pressure on that player will stop them from playing the ball. But fortunately in eFootball, you can particularly take out the threat. Take out the only, in many cases, the only weapon your opponent has, right? So it basically renders these rats useless on the pitch. And then, as you can see here, you take over the game and dominate. So that leaves you with the only decision, which is to use smart assist or not. I can't stand it. I wish it wasn't in the game at all. But when these opponents are abusing it, for me, it's almost like giving them a taste of their own medicine. And when you take a skilled player and add the helpfulness of smart assist, which helpfulness is an understatement, right? It flat out plays for you basically in many situations. When you add that, it becomes a nightmare for these rats. But maybe it will teach them a lesson. So hopefully this was helpful. If it was, leave a like on the video and please subscribe if you haven't. Peace out.